David, a king after God's own heart, led Israel to numerous victories. However, one hot afternoon, while the rest of his army was away at war, David found himself unable to sleep. He decided to take a walk on the rooftop of his palace. Looking over a nearby wall, David saw something that made his heart skip a beat. It was Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, and one of his most loyal soldiers. Hold on a second. King David shouldn't be looking at another man's wife like that. It is a big no-no in the Bible, right? But what happens if temptation strikes? Can you resist it? Leave a comment below to tell us about a time when you faced temptation and overcame it. Please remember to subscribe if you have not already. King David, overcome by desire, sent for Bathsheba. He brought her to the palace. David, blinded by his lust, broke God's commandments and committed adultery with Bathsheba. However, the consequences of sin are always swift. Bathsheba soon realized she was pregnant. Oh no, this is not good. David is in a real mess right now. What is he going to do? Have you ever made a poor decision that you deeply regretted? How did you handle the consequences? Share your stories in the comments section. David panicked. He couldn't risk the scandal. Uriah, Bathsheba's husband, was a war hero, and the people adored him. So David hatched a terrible plan. He recalled Uriah from the battlefield and tried to convince him to spend the night with Bathsheba. Uriah, a man of duty, refused. He would not abandon his fellow soldiers while still fighting. David became frustrated. He devised a more sinister plan. He sent Uriah back to the front lines, placing him at the forefront of the most dangerous battle. David's plan worked tragically. Uriah was killed in the battle, along with many other brave soldiers. The news of Uriah's death reached Jerusalem, and the city fell silent. David thought he had gotten away with his sin, but God would not let it stand. The prophet Nathan, known for his wisdom and courage, arrived at the palace. He told the king that he had a story for him. Nathan stated his story. In a certain town, there lived two men. One was wealthy, with large flocks of sheep and cattle. The other was poor, with only one small lamb. Nathan continued the story, weaving a tale of injustice and the rich man's cruelty towards the poor man's precious lamb. David is so furious. That rich man deserves to die. A heavy silence settled upon the throne room as David listened intently to Nathan's parable. The prophet's voice, though, carried an undeniable weight. Nathan continued. This rich man, consumed by greed, stole the poor man's only possession, the lamb he cherished like a daughter. The king frowned and said, "Such an act is abhorrent. The rich man must face a just punishment." "Yes, your majesty," said Nathan. "The penalty for such a transgression is fourfold restitution." David's face revealed a hint of unease. He sensed there was a deeper meaning beneath Nathan's seemingly straightforward narrative. David cleared his throat and said, "A most appropriate punishment. Tell me, Nathan, what happened to the rich man?" Nathan said, "Your majesty, you are the rich man in my story." The revelation hit David like a bolt of lightning. The painstakingly built mask of normalcy fell apart. The weight of his transgressions, the adultery with Bathsheba, and the callous manipulation of Uriah came crashing down upon him. Nathan told the king that you have stolen Uriah's wife, Bathsheba, and condemned him to die. Your majesty, you have committed adultery and murder. The air in the throne room crackled with tension. David, the once mighty king, was now a broken man facing the harsh reality of his sin. The weight of God's displeasure hung heavy in the air. In the comments, share a time when you faced a difficult decision. Did you choose the righteous path, or did you succumb to temptation? Have you not subscribed to the channel yet? Kindly do so as we continue the story. The weight of Nathan's words pressed hard on David's soul. The king, once a beacon of righteousness, was now consumed by guilt and remorse. Tears streamed down his face. He poured out his heart to God in a desperate plea for forgiveness. David's anguished cries echoed the words of Psalm 51. "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me." Deeply moved by David's genuine repentance, Nathan offered a glimmer of hope. though the consequences of his actions would be severe. God, in his infinite mercy, offered a path to redemption. Nathan, voice filled with empathy, said, "The Lord has heard your prayer, David. You will not die. However, the sword will never depart from your house because you have brought shame on me by taking the wife of Uriah the Hittite." David said, "I accept your judgment, Nathan. I have sinned against the Lord." The consequences, as prophesied by Nathan, were swift and devastating. Nathan went home. The Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne for David, and he became very sick. David begged God for the boy. He fasted and spent the night sleeping on the ground. The senior servants of his house approached him to lift him up off the ground, but he refused, and he wouldn't eat with them either. On the seventh day, the child died. Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba. He went to her and had sex with her. She gave birth to a son and named him Solomon. The Lord loved him and sent word by the prophet Nathan to name him Jedediah because of the Lord's grace. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the story of David and Bathsheba. Remember, even the strongest among us can make mistakes, but God offers forgiveness and a chance to rebuild. In the comments below, share a Bible story that resonates with you. What lessons do you take away from it? Did you want to know what become of the child Solomon, or interested in how David became the king? Worry not, the video is on the screen. For more interesting Bible story, kindly like the video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you, and God bless you.